Well, let's talk about some college football because with some conference championships on the line, we may see some Hail Mary prayers this weekend, Brett. Starting on Friday, where we have the Conference USA Championship between UAB and Marshall, and we also have the MAC Championship going on in Detroit between Ball State and Buffalo. Now, Brett, some of these championship games are being held at a home facility, so it's not going to be at a neutral site. But the MAC, you were talking to me before the episode, you like that the MAC is staying with the neutral site.
Yeah, I mean, I stand by this take, Higgins. If the MAC can do it, the most important conference in all of college football, they get us through our Tuesdays, they get us through our Wednesdays. We owe everything to the MAC.
They're a real team player.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, thanks for playing on Wednesday night. No one else wants to do it, but we need football. So the MAC's the best, and if they can play at a neutral site for their championship, these other conferences can too. Like, it's not like the MAC's a Power 5 conference, but Ford Field...
Pac-12, who's also playing on Friday.
Ford Field's been a great host for the MAC championship. I'm upset there probably won't be any fans there this year, but UB, baby, going to go represent New York State really well in this one, I think.
And that's who I'm going to be on in this game between Ball State and Buffalo, Brett. Buffalo at minus 13.5. I mean, we said this throughout the episodes. You've said it multiple times. Buffalo is the favorite to win the MAC. They've shown it throughout the year. They've rolled over a lot of their opponents. They're 5-0, whereas Ball State, they're 5-1, almost 4-2 with a weird ending to last week's game against Western Michigan. We'll see how they get over that chaos in general. But Buffalo, they're 13.5 point favorites, so 2 touchdowns. But they've, on average, won their games by 30 points, Brett. They're, on average, scoring 51 points per game, and they're allowing 21 points per game. So, while Ball State is a top-tier opponent considerably in the MAC, I think Buffalo will still handle this game rather well, so I think they're going to win by more than 2 touchdowns. My money's going to be on Buffalo, minus 13.5.
Honestly, Higgins, I'm totally on your side on this one. The only reason I don't think I'm going to bet this game is because there is so much great college football this weekend and college basketball. I just don't think I have the bankroll to be betting on the MAC championship when all these other championship games are going on and college hoops and the NFL. So this was just a pure bankroll call for me. But I'm with you. I do believe in Buffalo. I think they'll cover the 13.5 here. I think they're the better team, and I'm excited to see whichever team lands a few of these Buffalo players, but specifically Jarrett Patterson. That kid has been electric all season.
Well, Brett, before we move on to the Saturday slate that you just mentioned is jam-packed, I do want to talk about that Pac-12 Conference Championship real quick, because since Washington is in COVID-19 protocols, they're not able to play in this, even though they are the team that deservedly should be playing against USC in this game. Oregon is getting this shot. I don't think they should. I don't think they deserve it. And honestly, I think this is when the Pac-12 should throw their divisions out the window and you take the 2 top teams, which would be USC versus Colorado, the only 2 ranked teams in the Pac-12 right now. Now, yes, they have already played this season, but I'd like to see that game again. I would have much preferred that than seeing Oregon versus USC, and I don't know. I'm staying away from this game, but somewhere deep in the pit of my stomach, I feel like the Ducks are going to win this game, and they're going to get to say they were Pac-12 championships or champions, even though they didn't necessarily deserve to be in this game to start.
Just the unrightful champion. That's been your take all year. You don't want Notre Dame to win an unrightful championship. You don't want Oregon to win the unrightful championship.
It's based on principle.
So you gotta you better be rooting against Ohio State, who got the free pass.
I don't like that Ohio State's getting the free pass
I love
either.
it, Higgins. Just hate on everyone, Higgins. Everyone.
And you brought up Notre Dame. I'm betting against Notre Dame. Clemson minus 10.5 here in the ACC championship game. Now, Yes, Notre Dame did beat Clemson in the first matchup of this, but you know who there wasn't? Was Trevor Lawrence. He was in his coronavirus protocol. So DJ Ugalalale, I did not pronounce that right, but DJ started
No,
that
I was
game,
pretty close, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm sorry, DJ.
but DJ threw for over 400 yards against Notre Dame's defense. You don't think Trevor Lawrence can do that? I think Trevor Lawrence can do that. Meanwhile, Ian Books, he only threw for one touchdown in that game. I expect Clemson's defense to be able to adjust a little bit better and be able to get this win. So Clemson minus 10.5, even though they lost that first game, I think Trevor Lawrence really does swing that much.
Honestly, Higgins, I love all the points you brought up, but I love all the points you brought up for Notre Dame because I
Okay.
think DJ Ugalele proved that it doesn't matter who the heck playing quarterback for Clemson. Clemson's defense can't stop Notre Dame. And honestly, do I really think Notre Dame's going to win this one? No, but I think Notre Dame covers. I don't think it's a blowout. We saw a game go to double overtime in South Bend. Why can't this one go to double overtime in Charlotte? It's technically a neutral site, but it's significantly closer to Clemson, South Carolina. I can promise you that. As someone that has lived in Charlotte, I can promise you, I saw signs on the highways for Clemson. I saw none for South Bend, Indiana.
That makes sense. That makes sense that Clemson would be a little bit closer to Charlotte. It's close though, right? It's close.
2 hours, 2 hour drive. Nothing too crazy. There's South Carolina bars, North Carolina bars. There's Clemson bars. So big fan base, alumni base there for sure. But Notre Dame's a national team. I expect the fan base to show up for Notre Dame as well. They will have limited fans at this one. So similar to the Notre Dame game where there were fans, there will be fans at this one as well, I think.
That'll be very interesting to see, and I'm very excited for that game, Brett.
Yeah, no, that's. I mean, to be honest, to have that and the Bills on at the same time, like that's rude to us. We want those games both in prime time.
Maybe we'll have to parlay them.
Maybe.
Well, Brett, you have a pick not outside the Power Five of one of these mid majors that you like to. You're not going to be betting on the MAC, but you're going to be betting on the Mountain West.
Well, sometimes when an undefeated team is getting 6.5 points, you just gotta take it, right? Like you gotta take the points. So San Jose State in a neutral site game, actually in a stadium that they played in last week, Higgins. Fun fact. So they've played in this stadium now back-to-back weeks. We'll be taking on Boise State, who lost to BYU earlier this year. San Jose State's undefeated, unblemished record. I don't know if they're going to have their first loss come this week, especially when they've already been in Vegas longer than Boise State. And they're a little bit more comfortable with the stadium and their surroundings because they've played there before this year, last week.
Yeah, a little bit more familiar with the facility, with the hotel they were staying in, the drive to the locker rooms, all of that. Yeah, that all plays a factor into just being comfortable on your way to the game. Absolutely.
Yeah, and they won last week in Vegas, so why not go 2-0 in Vegas? Leave a big winner. No
There
one
you
goes
go.
to no one goes to Vegas to win a little bit.
Well, I think there's going to be another big winner, but this one's going to be in Atlanta. Alabama's 17.5 point favorites, and they're just going to cover. That's just what's going to happen. I mean, they're 8-2 against the spread this year. Florida's 4-5-1 against the spread this year. They're not good against the spread. So I expect Alabama to do what Alabama does. They're going to win forcefully, and they're going to make sure they get the number one overall seed in the college football playoffs.
Okay, so here's the real question on this game. Mac Jones or Devonta Smith for the Heisman?
Okay.
I guess Kyle Trask is technically still in it, but I don't think Florida's winning this game, so 3 losses, he's gone.
I think you got to go with the quarterback, so I'd say Mac Jones.
Mac Jones, yeah, I mean, it's going to be close. It's going to be close between those two, but I'm with you. I think The air has left the bubble after last week's loss to LSU for these Gators. So I don't see them bouncing back in this one. This feels like a Bama blowout.
Yes, it really does. It really does. It was an easy pick for me. It was almost my pick of the pod, but not quite.
Not quite. All right. Well, I'm on one last championship game. Although I will say this, Higgins, I was surprised you didn't try and pick Cincinnati Tulsa for like the fifth time. I thought,
I was considering it.
I tried week it was like week 2 of the season. It got postponed. Then you tried the last 3 times they tried to play. And so I was surprised you stayed off that one. But our last championship game that we're going to preview, the Big Ten Championship, Northwestern, the Fighting Reese Davises, plus 20.5. They're my favorite team in college football all year, Higgins. I've loved betting on Northwestern this year. I've loved watching them. They play hard defense. Honestly, it's going to be tough for Ohio State to score 21 points. It won't not be an easy 21 for them to get up on the board. I do not think Northwestern wins, unfortunately, but 3 scores is disrespectful, and Northwestern will absolutely cover the 3 scores.
See, I don't necessarily feel the same way about that spread as you. Now, Northwestern absolutely does make me nervous, and I think they fully can beat this spread and cover it rather handedly. But also, the Buckeyes' offense is good enough that they can score that much if they need to. Justin Fields is that talented. So the fact that I could see Ohio State easily winning by 3 touchdowns or Northwestern's defense easily stopping that, I don't have a good enough read on this that I'm staying away from that game.
I'm just so disappointed in you. I was going to go take our Fanatics little promo. I was going to buy you a Northwestern shirt. We were going to take pictures on Saturday. What the heck?
Don't buy me a Northwestern shirt. They're the only school that didn't let me in.
We were going to wear our Northwestern jerseys and take our picture. It's all over.
Well, since you mentioned that Cincinnati game, I actually did just look at a little bit of it just now, and you know what? Tulsa has a better record against the spread than Cincinnati. Cincinnati was very good to me on the spread, but Tulsa's better overall this year against the spread, so maybe I'll have to post on social media picking that game. We'll see where I'm at. We'll see where my bankroll management's been by that time on Saturday, but who knows?